Everybody's talking about vaccinations, whether you should get one, whether they work, whether they don't work, whether it should be illegal not to have one, whether you can go into a grocery store without one. But very few people are talking about vaccinations and condominiums, except for Deborah Howden. She's a condominium lawyer in Toronto. She joins me right now because it's a big issue. You said it's one of the biggest issues you're asked about these days. And I guess whether if you're going up in an elevator in a condominium, you want to know whether Joe Blow beside you has or not a vaccination. Is that right?
You sure do, yeah. Many of the condominiums are dense living conditions, multi-level. And so to the extent that you're rubbing shoulders with somebody next to you, you might be concerned whether or not they're vaccinated.
And so are you getting a lot of questions about this from either the owners or from renters or from, what about a concierge?
We are getting daily questions, and several times a day, Stephen. It is the hot topic.
Well, what are the answers? I brought the questions. You're here for the answers.
I'm happy to give the answers. The answer, though, is it's never really clear. Our government has not mandated vaccines, and it doesn't look like they're going to do that anytime soon. Christine Elliott just said that they were shying away from that, unlike Quebec, who's introduced a vaccine passport.
Right.
So at this point in time, it is not mandatory to get a vaccine. That translates into the condominium setting, meaning that people can come into the common elements absent, any special requirement by the condominium board. They can be in the common elements, they can enter elevators, and they can be unvaccinated.
What about the condominium board? You brought it up. What if they say, we want to be a vaccine-only building? Can they do that?
A lot of challenges with that, Stephen. 2 words, good luck on that one. And the reason that is because, again, it's not mandatory. So to restrict people's movements in the common elements as opposed to elsewhere, like in an amenity that might require some vaccination if you're working out in a gym or something like that.
Well, I was just going to say, what about a sauna? Hot and steamy and sweaty, and you want to know.
Sauna could be tricky. There's a section in the Condominium Act, Section 117. I won't get into too much into the weeds on that one.
Good.
But what that one essentially says is that the condominium corporation cannot allow a dangerous condition to exist. So if the board is going to pass some rule or policy respecting unvaccinated people accessing those amenities, it would be under the rubric of Section 117. Our law's not too developed on that, so it's not clear that they can do that. And of course, there always has to be exceptions for human rights.
Of course.
So if somebody's immunocompromised or has a religious objection that's bona fide, that would have to be accommodated.
Sounds so complex.
It's a little bit tricky to navigate, and it depends, of course, on the amenity. So you mentioned a sauna. That's perhaps a more clear case. In an amenity such as a party room, where it would just be the unit owner and his or her invitees, it's a little bit less reasonable to impose that type of restriction.
Spoken like a true lawyer. Less reasonable. Deborah, thank you very much. 3 minutes. PayPal, don't forget about it. Justin Trudeau is traversing the country on a government jet, handing out your money for all kinds of projects. I'm sure they're all extraordinarily worthy. Why now? He wants your vote. He is trying to buy a bigger Liberal majority next time around. So, as we are one of the few news services which are not paid for by the government and by Justin, please support us. And thanks for watching.